I found Dr. T. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, Holly. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for taking a minute to talk to me because I am so excited about these products and you are a huge part of them. But before we get into, what they are and how you found the company, I want to talk a little bit about your background.
I'm consulting to this company. I have consulted for other companies, and I am the director of a medical spa. But I practiced standard medicine. However, I didn't go to medical school until I was 36 years old. So I was the geriatric bookend of the class.
Oh, now hold on. 36 better not be geriatric, Dr. T.
Compared to the 21-year-olds
Well, yeah.
I was going to school with.
Of course, that's true. Those guys, they all think we're very old at 36.
But I had another life before, and I was in the diplomatic corps in the aid program, and so I was in third world countries where Western medicine just doesn't exist with the same prevalence it does here.
Absolutely.
And as a result, I had an interest in medicine, and I would follow the medical practitioners around who would either do massage or use herbs, etc. So I saw a lot of things, including very serious things, being treated with stuff from nature.
Absolutely.
So that was important, and it went deep inside me. And then I went to medical school, and I became indoctrinated, like most doctors do, to the use of drugs. And I felt naked without my prescription pad. I guess over the years I saw probably close to 37,000 people in my office.
Wow.
About 12 years into my practice, I treated someone in his late 20s. And I didn't realize that the complaint we were treating was actually a side effect of a drug I was giving him already. And I sent him to a specialist who gave him another very high dose of drugs to treat the symptoms that the drug was causing. And he was in the hospital and he died.
Oh no.
Code blue. I ran to his room and my partner was already there. We gave him a shock and he came back right away so quickly that he didn't know that he had died. It shook me up. Because if this young man had passed, say he was out in the community on those drugs, and his body was autopsied, there would have been nothing at all in the autopsy to identify the cause of death.
Wow.
Because it was simply an arrhythmia of the heart provoked by the drug. And I began to look for things that maybe I might be able to use that would also be helping my patients, but wouldn't have the dangerous side effects that so many drugs do.
That long list at the end where my favorite is the one that ends with death. It's like, wow, that is a tricky one.
Yeah, when you
to play with.
when you advertise and talk about supplements, you don't have the rapid speech at the end with all of the disclaimers.
Yep.
Because they're safe comparatively. I looked after the requirement to inform the FDA if someone had an adverse reaction to a drug, and I did that for a couple of companies. And in the 15 years that I did it, I never had to make a report because there's such a striking difference between the side effects which can exist for supplements and the side effects for drugs.
Wow.
So I started to get half and half, sort of like a merman. Half
I like
supplement,
that.
Half doctor.
Uh-huh.
And my purpose really in going into medicine was to try and help people.
Absolutely.
And there came a time when I recognized that, yeah, you're seeing one person every 15 minutes and you're probably helping them, maybe hurting, but probably. But if you could talk to hundreds and via the wonderful things we can do now with Zoom and other modalities.
Social media.
Maybe thousands.
Yeah.
And talk to them about the basics, diet, exercise, and how to choose supplements amongst the millions that are out there.
Yeah, because all supplements are not created equal.
All supplements are not created equal, and all people who make supplements are not created equal. And you need to do your own due diligence. It's harder to find the information out about supplements than it is about drugs, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
But you need to do it so that you know that you're getting value for your money. That you're putting something into your body that it's going to be able to use beneficially. But there is a lot to be found because in the plant kingdom, plants die from the same things that kill us. Bacterial infections, viral infections, fungus. There are a lot of the same sort of challenges that they face that we do. But we certainly can choose the plants that we want, and we can get those phytochemicals that they've elaborated for their protection, and our body can use them for us.
Tell me about why M.Network, because you mentioned right there at the beginning that you started consulting from this point. You were inspired and led to ways to start consulting the supplement companies. How did you find these guys, and what is it that you're so excited about?
This is a young company. And when old people want to influence others, don't go to other old people who have got all their bad habits and their preconceived notions. Go to a young company. So they're lithe, they're well funded, and they have products which for the first time, I've never seen this before in direct marketing, that compete effectively with the bad things on the shelves in the supermarkets, with the drinks that are really nothing more than colored water with sugar.
Yeah.
They compete with a proper and good tasting alternative with those drugs. It really is striking that you can, even considering the cost of the water, that you can find something that has been formulated by scientists and doctors, and not necessarily by people who are just looking for the wow factor in the taste. There's good
Or
stuff.
the buzz and the caffeine.
Absolutely.
Which, trust me, caffeine is a tool in my world, and I love it. And I know there's the go. I love the go.
Yes. And so we are looking at what people want, what they need, and providing it in a form that they've never had before from the direct marketing industry. I like that.
I do too.
And I'm excited that these guys have their eye on the present and one eye on the future, and that they have the flexibility to accept that even if they're successful in the now, when something better comes along in the future, they will go for it.
Yeah.
And they also love my favorite supplement, the mangosteen.
I was going to say we can't not talk about the mangosteen, and we need to talk about how and why you like this delivery system in the sticks form, because that's very key, right?
Yeah, there was a time when I was absolutely convinced that the best preparation could only be had in taking it as close to nature. Just take that fruit out, smash it up, and let's eat it if we can. We couldn't, because it's absolutely unpalatable.
Okay.
But one company, a flavoring company, was able to make a marvelous drink. And I thought that was the best thing for 15 years. I still think it's great. I still drink it. I still have friends who drink it. But I believe that the future will allow us to take some of the innovations in processing, things like rendering things to nano size, teeny particles that will penetrate so easily into the cell across the gut. Bioavailability is absolutely important in natural products because normally it's very low. So if we can do some things with those kinds of innovations, we can bring products to the market that are just better than everything that's been there.
Absolutely. And that is what is happening in these sticks. And tell me some of the things the mangosteen does for me.
I used mangosteen way back with my patients. I took the 24 worst patients I had. Now, they weren't because they were bad people. They were people who had either reacted poorly to drugs or there was no treatment for what they had. Fibromyalgia back in the day had no treatment whatsoever by medicine.
Yeah.
And therefore, we had to try and do something we could. So I gave these people just 1 ounce of the product that I was using at that time. We didn't have a name for it. It was called Jungle Juice. But of the 20 of them noticed that they had more energy.
Okay.
Now, when somebody comes into the doctor and says, hey, I've got no energy, my get up and go is gone. And after the doctor looks at their thyroid function and maybe looks at their general blood picture, make sure they haven't got an adrenal problem, can't do anything.
You're kind of stuck.
Nothing to do. So I thought, boy, if this is not doing something to the adrenals that's harmful to the body, and so I tested and saw that it wasn't, then if it does nothing else but give people a lift, it's going to be great.
That's life-changing alone.
But Some of those people were diabetics. Some of those people had pain. Many of them were arthritic. Most of them were older. So they had other chronic challenges in their lives. And their bodies had been unsuccessful, even with the assistance of drugs, at meeting those challenges successfully as far as pain and discomfort, etc.
Yep.
When I started giving them this in very, very small amounts, their bodies did a better job.
Wow.
They were able to help mitigate the problems. They got closer to where they had been when they were younger. And I was thrilled with the idea that this was across the board.
And natural.
Across the board, and natural.
Yep.
So I started thumping the desk for diet, education, activity. Exercise cannot be overvalued. Regardless of your limitations, you can exercise.
Absolutely.
And supplement. And choose the right things. So for me, the mangosteen, I followed the mangosteen.
I love it. And you followed it all the way to M.Network. And
Followed it all the way.
the packaging, I wanted you to speak a little bit about how in those small packages, it creates an opportunity to not have preservatives. And so there's brilliance in the sticks.
Correct. With the advances that have come in processing of natural products into powders, there is now a methodology where you don't require supplemental preservatives to go into it.
Okay.
And you don't require fillers. Fillers, usually, there's a mistaken impression under many ways that bigger is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it isn't so. And when you put only the actives, and just the actives, then good things come in small packages.
Absolutely.
So all of the extra things that would be found in comparable sort of packaging,
Aren't
they
there?
are there.
Yeah.
Smaller, but better.
And the delivery with the water into your body, is it quick delivery? Is that something too?
Well, definitely a liquid is going to be able to carry smaller particles in a dissolved format that will get them absorbed by the digestive tract much better than a pill or a capsule. So it has advantages over the form that most supplements take. Now, occasionally you can't avoid pills and capsules.
Yeah.
But where you can, do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time away and chatting with me here. I know you've got people who want you besides me, and I really appreciate all of your knowledge and everything that you bring to the table, and I can't wait to try more of these products. I'm going to get my mangosteen on every day. Sylvia, you and I, mangosteen time, every day.
Holly, you've been a gracious host. It's been wonderful being with you.
Well, thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on Talk 365.